Before computers ruled engines and traction control tamed torque, the streets belonged to pure mechanical monsters. In the 1970s and 80s, Japanese motorcycle manufacturers went on a rampage, building powerful, groundbreaking bikes that shattered speed records and redefined two-wheeled freedom. Today, we're counting down 15 of the most powerful Japanese motorcycles of that golden era. From turbocharged experiments to four-cylinder legends, get ready to relive an era when motorcycles were wild, loud, and untamed. Starting our countdown at number 15, picture this: Yamaha's first serious attempt at a big-bore triple, powered by a 747 cubic centimeter three-cylinder engine pumping out 64 horsepower. Number 15, Yamaha XS750. While that might sound modest by today's standards, the XS750 was a revelation in 1977. This wasn't just another motorcycle, it was Yamaha's declaration that they could build something different, something special. The XS750 featured shaft drive, which was revolutionary for sport-oriented bikes at the time. Most manufacturers were still using chains, but Yamaha went bold with a maintenance-free shaft system that could handle the triple's torque delivery. The bike could hit 115 miles per hour, making it a genuine highway cruiser with sporting pretensions. What made the XS750 legendary wasn't just its power, it was its sound. That three-cylinder engine produced a distinctive howl that was part motorcycle, part airplane. Riders would recognize an XS750 from blocks away, and that unique exhaust note became the bike's calling card on the streets of the late 70s. At number 14, when Honda wanted to inject some serious aggression into their CB750 line, they created the CB750F Supersport. Number 14, Honda CB750F Supersport. This wasn't your grandfather's CB750. This was a 736 cubic centimeter inline four that cranked out 70 horsepower and wore its racing intentions on its sleeve. The F model featured a sleek, angular fairing that cut through the wind like a knife. Dual front disc brakes provided stopping power that matched the engine's performance, and the bike could reach 125 miles per hour when pushed to its limits. But what really set the CB750F apart was its handling. Honda had finally created a 750 that could corner as well as it accelerated. Motorcycle magazines of the era called it the CB750 that should have been built from the beginning. The F model proved that Honda could build more than just reliable transportation. They could build machines that stirred the soul and quickened the pulse. At number 13, don't let the smaller displacement fool you. The Kawasaki Z650 was a weapon disguised as a middleweight. Number 13, Kawasaki Z650. Its 652 cubic centimeter inline four engine produced 64 horsepower. But more importantly, it delivered that power with a ferocity that caught riders off guard. The Z650 was Kawasaki's answer to riders who wanted Z-Series aggression without the intimidation factor of the bigger bikes. With a top speed of 118 miles per hour and acceleration that could embarrass much larger motorcycles, the Z650 became the choice for riders who understood that power-to-weight ratio mattered more than raw displacement. What made the Z650 special was its Jekyll and Hyde personality. Around town, it was docile and manageable. But twist the throttle hard, and it transformed into a snarling beast that could leave much larger bikes in its wake. This was the bike that taught a generation of riders that you didn't need a liter-class engine to have serious fun. If you love classic Japanese bikes and raw power, give this video a like, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more legendary motorcycles. At number 12, Suzuki's GS850G was the motorcycle equivalent of a sleeper car. Understated looks hiding serious performance potential. Number 12, Suzuki GS850G. The 843 cubic centimeter inline-4 produced 78 horsepower, making it one of the most powerful middleweights of its era. What set the GS850G apart was its shaft drive system, borrowed from Suzuki's touring bikes but adapted for sport riding. This gave the bike a unique character. Smooth power delivery combined with the reliability that made it perfect for both daily commuting and weekend canyon carving. The GS850G could hit 130 miles per hour and cruise at highway speeds all day long without breaking a sweat. It was the bike for riders who wanted performance without the high-maintenance demands of the pure sport bikes. Suzuki had created a machine that could do everything well, and that versatility made it a favorite among riders who understood that the best motorcycle was the one you could ride every day. At number 11, the Honda CBX wasn't just a motorcycle, it was an engineering statement. 6 cylinders, 1,047 cubic centimeters, and 105 horsepower arranged in a configuration that looked more like a Formula One engine than a motorcycle power plant. Number 11. Honda CBX. When Honda unveiled the CBX, the motorcycle world stopped and stared. This wasn't about practicality. This was about pushing the boundaries of what a motorcycle could be. The CBX could hit 135 miles per hour and accelerate from 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds, numbers that put it in supercar territory. But what really made the CBX special was its sound. 6 cylinders spinning at 9,000 RPM created a mechanical symphony that was pure audio ecstasy. The CBX represented Honda at their most ambitious. They weren't just building a motorcycle, they were building a rolling showcase of engineering excellence. Every component was designed to handle the immense power and complexity of that 6-cylinder engine, from the massive frame to the sophisticated suspension system. At number 10, while everyone else was building inline-4s, Yamaha went in a completely different direction with the XV1000 Virago. Number 10, Yamaha XV1000 Virago. This 981 cubic centimeter V-twin produced 78 horsepower, but more importantly, it delivered that power with a character that was uniquely American in feel but Japanese in execution. The Virago's 75-degree V-twin engine was designed to compete with Harley-Davidson, but Yamaha's interpretation was smoother, more reliable, and more powerful than anything coming out of Milwaukee. The bike could hit 115 miles per hour and delivered its power with a steady, relentless pull that was perfect for highway cruising. What made the Virago revolutionary was its approach to cruiser styling. Yamaha had taken the American cruiser formula and refined it with Japanese engineering precision. The result was a bike that looked like it belonged on Route 66, but performed like a modern sport bike. If you love classic Japanese bikes and raw power, give this video a like, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more legendary motorcycles. At number 9, the Kawasaki GPZ1100 was the bike that put Kawasaki back on the superbike map in the early 80s. Number 9, Kawasaki GPZ1100. With a 1,089 cubic centimeter inline-4 producing 108 horsepower, the GPZ1100 was designed to be the ultimate sport touring machine. What set the GPZ1100 apart was its revolutionary chassis design. Kawasaki had created a frame that was both rigid enough for sport riding and comfortable enough for long-distance touring. The bike could hit 140 miles per hour and handle like a much smaller machine, making it the perfect choice for riders who wanted to cover serious miles at serious speeds. The GPZ 1010 featured a distinctive angular fairing that cut through the wind with minimal turbulence. Riders could cruise at 100 miles per hour for hours without fatigue, making it the bike of choice for serious long-distance riders who refuse to compromise on performance. At number 8, Honda's VF1000R was their answer to the growing demand for track-focused superbikes. This 998 cubic centimeter V4 engine produced 125 horsepower in a package that was designed from the ground up for racing. Number 8. Honda VF1000R. The VF1000R featured revolutionary technology for its time. Gear-driven cams, a sophisticated aluminum frame, and aerodynamics that were developed in Honda's Formula One wind tunnel. The bike could hit 155 miles per hour and accelerate from 0 to 60 in just 3.2 seconds, making it one of the fastest production motorcycles of the 1980s. What made the VF1000R special was its racing pedigree. This wasn't just a street bike with racing pretensions, it was a race bike that happened to be street legal. Honda had taken everything they learned from their racing programs and packaged it into a machine that could be ridden on public roads. At number 7, the Suzuki GSX1100E was the bike that established Suzuki as a serious player in the superbike wars. Number 7, Suzuki GSX1100E. With a 1,075 cubic centimeter inline-4 producing 100 horsepower, the GSX1100E was designed to be the ultimate street fighter. What set the GSX1100E apart was its aggressive styling and uncompromising performance focus. This wasn't a touring bike or a commuter, it was a machine built for one purpose: going fast. The bike could hit 135 miles per hour and delivered its power with a brutality that was both exhilarating and intimidating. The GSX1100E featured a distinctive katana styling that was years ahead of its time. The angular, aggressive lines suggested speed even when the bike was standing still, and the performance lived up to the visual promise. Suzuki had created a motorcycle that looked as dangerous as it was fast. If you love classic Japanese bikes and raw power, give this video a like, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more legendary motorcycles. At number 6, Yamaha's FJ1100 was the bike that redefined what a sport touring motorcycle could be. Number 6, Yamaha FJ1100. With a 1,097 cubic centimeter inline-4 producing 125 horsepower, the FJ1100 was designed to be fast enough for the racetrack but comfortable enough for cross-country touring. The FJ1100 could hit 150 miles per hour and cruise at highway speeds with a smoothness that was unprecedented for a motorcycle of its era. The bike featured a sophisticated fairing system that provided excellent wind protection while maintaining the aggressive styling that made it a visual standout. What made the FJ1100 revolutionary was its versatility. This was a bike that could carve up a mountain road in the morning and eat up highway miles in the afternoon without missing a beat. Yamaha had created the perfect do-everything motorcycle for riders who refused to compromise. At number 5, the 1972 Kawasaki Z1 changed everything. When Honda delayed their CB750's development, Kawasaki seized the opportunity to create the first true superbike. Number 5, Kawasaki Z1. The Z1's 903 cubic centimeter four-cylinder engine didn't just match the competition, it obliterated it. The Z1 produced 82 horsepower when most motorcycles struggled to reach 50. This wasn't just about numbers. The power delivery was smooth and accessible, making the tremendous performance usable for real-world riding. The engine's robust construction meant it could handle serious abuse, with the cast-iron cylinders and forged pistons built to racing standards. The distinctive gold-colored engine cases became an iconic design element that Kawasaki still references today. Build quality was exceptional, with attention to detail that rivaled much more expensive machines. The Z1's frame was significantly stronger than the competition, using larger diameter tubing and additional bracing to handle the massive power output. The bike's styling was aggressive and purposeful, with a design language that influenced motorcycle aesthetics for decades. Top speed exceeded 209 kilometers per hour, making it the fastest production motorcycle of its time. The exhaust note was intoxicating, a deep, thunderous roar that announced the Z1's presence from kilometers away. Racing success followed immediately, with Z1s dominating both drag racing and road racing throughout the early 1970s. The engine proved to be incredibly durable, with many examples still running strong after decades of use. Parts availability remained excellent, supported by Kawasaki's commitment to their flagship model. The Z1 established Kawasaki as a serious player in the motorcycle world and created a template for high-performance motorcycles that manufacturers still follow today. At number 4, the Kawasaki GPZ1100R Ninja was the bike that changed everything. Number 4, Kawasaki GPZ1100R Ninja. With a 908 cubic centimeter inline-4 producing 115 horsepower, the Ninja was the first production motorcycle to break the 150-mile-per-hour barrier, making it the fastest production bike in the world when it was introduced. But the Ninja was more than just fast. It was revolutionary. Kawasaki had created a motorcycle that combined superbike performance with everyday usability. The bike could hit 151 miles per hour and accelerate from 0 to 60 in just 3.5 seconds, yet it was comfortable enough for daily commuting. The Ninja's impact on popular culture was immediate and lasting. When it appeared in the movie Top Gun, it became an instant icon. The bike represented everything that was exciting about the 1980s: speed, technology, and style wrapped up in one incredible package. If you love classic Japanese bikes and raw power, give this video a like, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more legendary motorcycles. At number 3, the Suzuki GSX-R750 was the bike that invented the modern sport bike category. Number 3, Suzuki GSX-R750, 1985 to 1987. With a 749 cubic centimeter inline-4 producing 100 horsepower in a package that weighed just 388 pounds, the GSX-R750 had a power-to-weight ratio that was unmatched by anything else on the road. What made the GSX-R750 revolutionary was its single-minded focus on performance. This wasn't a touring bike or a commuter, it was a race bike that happened to be street legal. The bike could hit 140 miles per hour in corner with a precision that was previously only available on dedicated racing machines. The GSX-R750 featured revolutionary technology for its time: an aluminum frame, full fairing with integrated headlight, and suspension components that were borrowed directly from Suzuki's racing bikes. The result was a motorcycle that could compete on racetracks around the world while still being legal for street use. The GSX-R750 debuted at the 1984 IFMA Motorcycle Show in Cologne and went on sale in Japan in 1985. As Suzuki engineers noted, this pure supersport model was our first 750cc bike, featuring an aluminum frame of unprecedented lightweight and superb torsional rigidity. We had no real competitors in the market other than factory racing machines. The heart of the GSX-R's innovation was its revolutionary cooling system. The Suzuki Advanced Cooling System (SACS) was developed by Suzuki engineer Etsuo Yokuchi, who researched oil jets and auxiliary oil cooling used in World War II aircraft, and employed some of the principles for developing SACS. This system cooled the cylinder head and pistons via engine oil injection, achieving cooling efficiency as good as water cooling with 10% weight reduction. At number 2, Honda's VF1000F Interceptor was the bike that established Honda as the king of V4 technology. Number 2, Honda VF1000F Interceptor, 1984 to 1987. With a 998 cubic centimeter V4 engine producing 122 horsepower, the Interceptor was designed to be the ultimate high-performance touring machine. The Interceptor could hit 155 miles per hour and featured the most advanced aerodynamics of any production motorcycle at the time. The bike's distinctive full fairing was developed using computer modeling and wind tunnel testing, resulting in a design that was both beautiful and functional. What set the Interceptor apart was its sophistication. Honda had created a motorcycle that was fast enough to compete with the best superbikes, but refined enough to be ridden across continents. The V4 engine delivered its power with a smoothness that was unmatched by any other configuration, making the Interceptor the choice for riders who wanted the ultimate in performance and refinement. The VF1000F Interceptor debuted in March 1984, launched first in the USA and Canada as Honda's flagship V4 motorcycle, with an initial retail price of $4,995. This bike was Honda's response to American market demand for a larger displacement Interceptor, building upon the success of the VF750F. The motorcycle featured Honda's sophisticated 90-degree V4 configuration with dual overhead cams and 4 valves per cylinder. The bike incorporated Honda's ProLink rear suspension system with adjustable components and triple-disc brakes, with the rear suspension utilizing needle bearings in the pivot links for reduced friction compared to the VF750. This engineering advancement required Honda to nearly double the compression damping in the shock absorber to compensate for the reduced friction, resulting in a firmer but more controlled ride quality. Number 1. We have a motorcycle that didn't just lead the pack, it scared the competition into redesigning theirs. The Kawasaki Z1300 was the most powerful production motorcycle of the 1970s and 80s, and it remains one of the most impressive engineering achievements in motorcycle history. Number 1. Kawasaki Z1300, 1979 to 1989. 6 cylinders, 1,286 cubic centimeters, and 120 horsepower, arranged in a configuration that was more like a small car engine than a motorcycle power plant. The Z1300 was Kawasaki's answer to Honda's CBX, but where Honda prioritized refinement, Kawasaki chose pure, uncompromising power. The Z1300 could hit 135 miles per hour and accelerate with a ferocity that was almost violent. But what really made the Z1300 special was its presence. This was a motorcycle that commanded respect simply by existing. At 670 pounds, it was one of the heaviest production motorcycles ever built, but that mass was necessary to contain the immense power of the 6-cylinder engine. The Z1300 featured shaft drive, which was essential for handling the massive torque output of the engine. The bike was equipped with triple-disc brakes, 2 in front and 1 in the rear, because stopping a 670-pound motorcycle traveling at 135 miles per hour required serious braking power. What made the Z1300 legendary wasn't just its specifications, it was its reputation. This was the bike that other manufacturers used as a benchmark. When Honda wanted to build the ultimate touring motorcycle, they studied the Z1300. When Yamaha developed their VMAX, they looked at the Z1300's power output as the target to beat. The Z1300 represented Kawasaki at their most ambitious. They weren't just building a motorcycle, they were building a statement about what Japanese engineering could achieve. Every component was designed to handle the immense power and complexity of that 6-cylinder engine, from the massive frame to the sophisticated suspension system. Riding a Z1300 was like riding a piece of industrial art. The 6-cylinder engine produced a sound that was part motorcycle, part locomotive, and completely unforgettable. At idle, the bike rumbled with a deep mechanical growl that announced its presence to everyone within a mile radius. Under acceleration, that growl became a roar that was both thrilling and terrifying. The Z1300 wasn't just a motorcycle, it was a rolling testament to the golden age of Japanese motorcycle engineering. It represented an era when manufacturers were willing to push boundaries, take risks, and build machines that were more about passion than profit. These bikes didn't just represent horsepower, they defined an era. A time when Japanese manufacturers were fearless, experimental, and downright aggressive in the pursuit of speed. Whether you grew up riding them or are just discovering their legacy, one thing's for sure, these motorcycles still leave modern riders in awe. These motorcycles created legends, both on the racetrack and on the street. They established reputations that have endured for decades, and their influence can still be seen in modern motorcycle design. The DNA of these machines lives on in every superbike, sport tourer, and cruiser that rolls off production lines today. Let us know your favorite in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more retro horsepower. Whether you're a veteran rider who remembers when these bikes ruled the roads, or a newcomer discovering the golden age of Japanese motorcycles, these machines represent everything that made the 70s and 80s the most exciting era in motorcycle history.